everyone, I hope you're doing well. My name is Katie and I make book-related videos every single Wednesday, and today I'm going to be going over the top 10 or 11 books that I'm really hoping to read this summer, and I'm sure I'm going to have a lot more time to read this summer because I'm going to have a 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, regular hours internship for 3 months. I'm getting ready to move for that right now, and in comparison to grad school, which just feels like a 24/7 job, I'm just really excited to have a lot more time to read. Every weekend's gonna feel like a vacation. So if you do want to follow my moving process to Connecticut and everything like that, make sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter, which will be down below. So let's go ahead and get into the top 10 books I'm hoping to read this summer. So the first book is one I'm sure you've seen all over BookTube, and that is The Vegetarian. Now, from what I understand, although it looks like a psychological thriller just based off the cover, it's really not, and it's also not necessarily about vegetarianism. It's about a woman in South Korea who suddenly decides to become a vegetarian based off of her dream. And I believe the story is told from 3 different perspectives of other family members. I get the impression that the overall story is just very disquieting and very eerie and very strange. The next book I'm hoping to read is In the Meantime by Paul Tremblay. This is a short story collection that is supposed to be like the first book I mentioned, quite eerie. It says that the stories are very disquieting and deal a lot with fear and paranoia. I think this is just going to be a really fun, quick read, and I haven't come across a lot of short story collections that are described in this way. I've read a bunch of horror short story collections, but I haven't read one that almost seems like each one's going to be a little bit of a psychological thriller, so that's really exciting. The next book is a book that has been suggested to me by a subscriber for years. It feels like, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting your name, but that is Penpal, and this seems to be sort of a horror novel where a man is trying to piece together his tragic and terrifying childhood. The next one is In the Miso Soup by Ryu Murakami. I've read Audition by him, still haven't seen the movie for some reason, but this one sounds a little nuts. This is about the sex industry in Japan, and a Japanese man is hired to sort of take an American man around sort of the seedy areas of Tokyo, but then the Japanese man starts to think that the American man is possibly the serial killer who has been terrorizing the city. So this, not surprisingly, sounds like it's right up my alley. Then is a book I've mentioned a few times on here that I've been really wanting to read, and I think this summer will be a good time to get into this, and that is Swamplandia by Karen Russell. This is about a 13-year-old girl who lives in the Florida Everglades. Her family lives on an island on a gator wrestling theme park, and I'm not sure what the premise of the book is aside from that, but it still sounds very fun and strange. Then we have a book that's very different from anything else on this list, and that is The Happiness Advantage. And I don't read a lot of non-fiction self-help type books, but Nerberexo is one of my favorite YouTubers. I'll link her channel down below, and she just raves about this book. And from what I gather, it's about how so many of us, like myself, have the mindset of once I get out of grad school, I'll really be fully happy. Once I have that dream job, I'll be fully happy. Once I meet the guy I'm gonna be with, I'll be fully happy. And this book is going through research documenting how happiness is not about certain events and things that happen in your life. It's just about a mindset. So it's supposed to be life-changing, so we'll see if that's the case. Next is a book that's very popular right now, and that is The Nightingale. This is a World War II book about Nazis invading, I forget which specific country this takes place in, but it's about 2 sisters who are very different and how the invasion affects their lives. Then is The Magician's King, the final book in the Magician series. And it's probably obvious that I've been pushing off reading this, not because I don't want to, but almost because I want to so bad and because I don't want the series to come to an end. I know a lot of people despise Quentin and despise the series, but I absolutely adore it. It's one of my favorite series of all time. I know a lot of people compare it to Harry Potter. I don't think that's necessarily a good thing to do, and I think that's why often people go into it and don't like it. I have to say I like this more than Harry Potter. I'm just putting that out there. And then is The Shining Girls by Lauren Bukes. If you guys remember when I did my Booked Box unboxing, this was the surprise book that I got sent, and I know a lot of people who actually really dislike this book, but just because it's a popular psychological thriller and we know I love those, the fact I haven't read it just really upsets me. So even if I end up disliking it, I just really want to go ahead and finally read this one. Next is In the Land of Armadillos, and I believe this is a World War II novel that also incorporates magical realism as well. Conrad from, what's his new channel name? The Deckled Edge, I'll link his channel down below, or his review of this down below, but he just raved about this, so I just trust his opinion on basically any books he recommends. And finally, I guess I'm cheating and this is 11, is You Should Pity Us Instead. And this is a fairly new short story collection. And again, reading the summary like some of these other books I mentioned, I don't have a clear idea what this is about. But I believe each of the stories in this collection are supposed to deal with quite sensitive topics and quite heavy issues such as religion. So it just sounded unique and had pretty good reviews. And I don't read a ton of brand new releases, so I thought that would be fun to do. Guys, so I hope you guys liked this video. Feel free to recommend any other summer reads down below. I'll also put my link to my channel right here if you want to go ahead and subscribe. Hope you guys are having a wonderful summer, and I'll see you next week. Bye.